opening odds for a championship were at plus 1,200. Opening odds for Western Conference Finals champion were at plus 1,000. Right now, they have the fourth best odds in the NBA in terms of championship odds. Only the Celtics, the Nuggets, and the Bucks have better odds. And in terms of the Western Conference, they're right behind the Denver Nuggets. And surprisingly, and I brought this up recently, but surprisingly, the Phoenix Suns are at plus 750.
I don't understand.
Have the third best odds.
I don't understand how the Suns are ahead of the Thunder and the Timberwolves in this.
Well,
what are we missing?
People believe in the big three. People believe. I feel like that year with the Lakers and Russell Westbrook, like they were not good the whole season, and like their odds really never shifted. They are always like they always still had the second or third best odds to win the West. I think there's, again, we want to see a longer stretch from the Suns with their big three. There's some defensive issues, of course, and then there's just some issues about how the offense is functioning right now. A lot of ISO, a lot of standing still, not a lot of movement. Role players outside of Eric Gordon for stretches have not done well. Grayson Allen, by the way, has actually, I'll say Grayson Allen has shot the ball well. Has had some big games. So I should include him in that as well.
I have a question about the Suns. I saw this stat a couple of days ago. I'm not sure if it's changed, but they had a minus 16.1 net rating in the fourth, which was the worst net rating in the fourth quarter since they've been tracking this in 1996, or the worst fourth quarter offense since they've been tracking this. What is that about? You have one of the great scorers of all time. You have another guy who's one of the great scorers in the league right now. How is that possible?
Again, I think it's a function of their offense. And I was kind of praising the offense, even all the way to the point where, Zach Lowe and I did my podcast to start the season. I went back on his podcast. I think it was late November, early December. They had a little winning streak and things looked good. And I was praising the spacing because they always had Booker and Durant next to each other. So if you gave help and you doubled, it happened. And I just think right now defenses are just loading to them so hard, and the game typically slows down in the fourth quarter. By the way, why does the game slow down in the fourth quarter? Why do teams for 44 minutes play one way and then they get a lead, and then for 4 minutes they play a different way? It's weird.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this with Bazula. There's this idea in jiu-jitsu. He's a big jiu-jitsu guy. There's this idea in jiu-jitsu where the strategy is you start at the ankles and you work your way up. You go to the knees, you go to the waist, you go to the torso, the chest, the shoulders. Eventually you get to the neck and head, and that's how you win. And there's this idea that is the closer you get to victory, the closer you are to defeat. Because the closer you move your way up to the neck, your opponent has the ability to shift. And so in jiu-jitsu, this idea of like holding on to victory, well, that's when you're going to lose. It's a general statement. That's a general statement
super
about
interesting because the fans,
fourth quarter basketball.
Fans feel it. Everyone in the arena feels it.
It's interesting to me.
Yeah.